Okay, so yes, we are coming to the end of the podcast. We're going to round up this podcast with a quick fire Q&A segment, which I name Shyam's Philosophies and Passions,
Wow.
where I will where I will ask 10 questions on your various passions like sport, philosophy, and education. And are you ready?
Okay, I'll
Okay.
try.
So in 2001, you broke Kunalan's 33-year-old 100-meter record by 0.01 second. When you broke the record, what did it represent to you?
It it represented my whole life. It's too complex for me to sort of explain, but it suddenly meant that my whole life made sense,
Okay.
and that amidst the turmoil and amidst the mess of my life, suddenly there was this moment of clarity. So everything made sense, and till this day, I will look back on it, even though it's not a amazing achievement, but it's, I think, personal meaning. It gave personal meaning to me.
Sure. Do you want your 100-meter record to be broken?
Haha. I guess yes. It should. It's been a long time,
Yeah,
right?
19 years.
And it means that if a record is broken, that means the sport has moved forward. And I was running at a time in the early 2000s. Now the system is a whole lot more conducive. Training approaches and methods have improved, so it should be broken.
Mr. Ang Peng Siong played a key role in reviving your career, and you write that he was a father figure to you, like a father figure to you. Was there any moment you shared with him that you vividly remember?
Oh, there were many moments. One moment I fondly remember is when he knew that I needed a sled. Right, sprinters would use a sled to do resistance sprints. Then he took me in his car and we went around looking for materials to make the sled. Right, so he had a spare tire, and then he took out the spare tire, and then we went to the hardware shop to get a harness, and then we made a makeshift sled that would have cost, I don't know, $200, and we made it, right. And then that became a very important part of my training, right? Pulling the tire and sprinting, and that was like, that was just amazing that you have someone to help you in every way, symbolically and on a real level, meant that there was someone with you to support you.
Many people know you as one of Singapore's most iconic sprinters, but fewer know of your passion for education. Right? You were a GP and KI teacher for 10 years at Hwa Chong Institution. What is one value or principle you strove to inculcate in students?
I think because I learned philosophy and because KI is essentially philosophy, what is important to me is that people realize the importance of thinking. And what I strove to do was to teach people how to think. Not only just, so not just the transmission of concepts, and ideas, but the fundamental way to think that would help you in every discipline, right? It sounds like a very abstract, meaningless statement, but when you talk about critical thinking in education or in philosophy, it really means that you need to ask the right questions and problematize issues and concepts that we would normally take for granted. Yeah. And another aspect would be probably that education needs to be guided by values, that that we want to be empowered by education, but we need to put it to good use or to better society in some way.
Share one quote from philosophy that resonates with you.
Wow. Okay. Very simple, almost cliched quote. Existence precedes essence, right? That's from Existence Precedes Essence. So when you say that when you have essence, it means that there is a definition of what you are.
Okay.
And the existentialists say that if your existence precedes your essence, what it means is that you exist and you are not predetermined, and that you can be whoever you want to be.
I think I will I will listen to the recording and then start to understand it after a while. But that leads to the next question, right? You ask a question you ask yourself a lot. To what extent can we transcend our circumstances?
This is a question I still ask myself now, and we see it happening everywhere, precisely when we talk about inequality, right? And you're talking about how we can navigate through the and overcome the situation that we are born into, and this is really tough. I think a lot has to do with the realities of the family that we come from, but the good thing is that because we live in a meritocratic system, the ability to overcome your circumstances, we have a lot of stories of social mobility and scholars that came from humble beginnings. So I think structurally we do have mechanisms that allow us to overcome our circumstance.
And that links
Sorry?
back to your previous quote as well.
Exactly, exactly. So it's very complex in the sense that you want to overcome your circumstance. It needs to start with you. So it's like a bit of the cards that fate deals you,
And then you make the best of it.
yeah, and trying to make the best of it. It's a really complex thing. Yeah.
Sure. You wrote in an article that we cannot just celebrate winners. Why and what do we then celebrate?
Well, I think, of course, excellence is a very important part of human existence, and we need to celebrate that. But it's also about whether we are going overboard, right? Fixation on excellence can also lead to some form of like elitism and a sort of a lack of understanding of the difficulties that other people may have gone through or that are going through, right? And not we really are just listening to feel good stories rather than understanding the reality of what happens to different people. They are marginalized narratives of failures or of the human spirit that we need to engage if we want to mature as a society in general. Yeah.
Why should we care about sport in Singapore?
Well, because I think sport, what you need to succeed in sport underpins what we need in life itself. So that whole idea of resilience or the triumph or the struggle of the human spirit, the strength of character, these are things that translates to everything even after we stop, right? So why we cannot ignore the arena that is so relevant and pertinent to life itself. And I think sport is a very important medium for development of values. And arguably, the sporting arena may have a lot more efficacy or may resonate with more people. Not so it cannot just be the classroom, right? I feel the track or the pool is the classroom of life in some way.
Sure. Last question. It's a very philosophical question. I guess a good way to end it. What do you wish to be remembered for?
Wow, this is the one question that I really cannot answer. I mean, I don't know. I want to be remembered someone who tried his best. Just that someone who really just wanted the best for people, and I think I want to be remembered for the person who really loves track and field and who wants to push the issue of why it is important for every Singaporean to have a dream. Yeah. So I think dreaming is just something that we take for granted, and nobody realizes that it's like a privilege that a lot of middle class and upper class people have that some people don't have, right? And that's what I want to be reminded. I want to be remembered for reminding people that we need to dream.
Thank you, Shyam. I think you're definitely reminding me of the importance of dreaming.